Hi everyone, Emma here. I'm back. So we are going to finish off the bracelet using attaching this beautiful clasp that I got at the last unboxing. So I went ahead and added the one side. We'll add the foot to the other side. I thought it's basically the same thing to do, so I thought we'd do it, and you could probably see a little more with the foot than you can with the edge, but this is what I went ahead and did. So I added an extra Rivoli. If you followed the other video, if not, you can take a look at the other video and see how we did these. But so on this side, I added 2 pearls and some demi-round 11s, and that's these guys here. Just to point out, you can see the difference in the color of these beads. And I mention this because sometimes we get a little crazy trying to find the exact colors to match up in the metallics. But I'll tell you, the trick that I've learned is you cannot see the difference once it's attached to a bracelet. You can't really tell that this is actually yellow next to the rest of these champagne colored beads. So just remember that not to stress about that. So the other thing I wanted to mention is I wanted to extend this to make sure that it's 7.5 inches, and I'll show you what I got. So I'm using my mandrel instead of the ruler because, I mean, we can take a look at the ruler and I'll show you the difference. And this is important. If you ask yourself, why are my bracelets never fitting people when I get their wrist size and I check and everything? So this is, if you measure it this way, flat, this is measuring 8.5. Let me show you here. 8.5. And then of course I'm going to add 2 beads and the foot. So it's really just, the beads that I'm adding. So it's going to be quite long, you would think, for a 7.5 inch wrist. But when you add thickness to your beads this way and you turn it into a circle, it actually becomes smaller than the outside line. So let's get our mandrel, and you can get these mandrels on Amazon. That's where I got mine. They're about $40 now. I got mine for $20, but it took a lot of searching. There's tons of them, so that's the problem. Try and find the best deal. They're only worth about $20 as far as I'm concerned, but it's a great tool to have. So this is the measurement, 7.5, that I'm going to use. So I'm going to take that piece up here and this piece here. So you can see it is now 7.5, and we measured it flat at 8.75. Now if somebody tells me their wrist size is 7.5, I always add a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch to that size, because we don't wear our bracelets extremely tight on our wrists, and our wrist isn't exactly 7.5 from top to bottom. Your wrist splays out a bit, so it might be, for mine it's 6 here, but out here it's 6.5 to 7, or that way it's the same. So definitely pay attention to that. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the foot with only the 2 pearls. I purposely added a set of 2 pearls on this side because I knew I needed a little bit more length. I was thinking maybe I would add the same on the other side, but if I do add an extra 1/4 inch, it might be a little too big, so we're going to leave it at that and hope that fits. So let's take a look at what we have. So we have the foot here, so we want to add the foot this way and kind of line it up with the pearls that are already there. Let me bring this out a bit closer. I do have some demi rounds there, and I have my thread ready to go. So I think I will bring my thread. Yeah, I might have to move to the other side. I want the thread to be going through. Let me get this in here. I want the thread to be coming up through one of these. If you look here, I want it through, say, this hole. But if I make my way around, because the, let me fix this. That looks too bright. I guess I can do it with the thread going down. So let's do that. So let's go through this top bead here. Oops. Go through the top bead. And then come down this side bead. I was going to say make your way to the other side, but we could do it up and down, especially since you're adding pearls. So if you look at your thread, it's in line with the pearl over here. So let's pick up a demi-round 11, a pearl, a demi-round 11, and make sure your foot is in the right position. So if this is the front, then your foot, this little sticking out piece, should be facing the top like that. So you want to go through this hole, and because we're coming from the bottom of that bead, we're going to go to the bottom of this one. And that part you can go through the top and weave it that way like a figure eight if you want. I tend to like to put it through the same way I have on the other side. So we'll just go through like that. So now we're going to go back through the demi-round, the pearl, and these are 6mm pearls, through the demi-round. So we came out the bottom of this, we want to go through the top. This is when it's important to do both, top and bottom, and pull everything. And you see there's all this thread here. Just hang on to this piece like that and pull your thread and it will draw. Let me change hands here. Hang on to that piece and draw everything in there. Flip that back like that. So that's what it'll look like. Okay, so we're going to go through the pearl a few times. So let's go back through the demi-round. I'm going to move this over. It's a little hard to maneuver. There. Go through the pearl. Go through the demi-round, and you can go through the foot of the clasp. Now these feet are kind of flat, so if you think about your thread rubbing against this hard surface, you might want to make sure you do multiple passes of thread. Use a stronger thread, or you can use a wire guardian. Just remember though that the wire guardian will add length as well. So let's go through here. That. Go through the bead. I'm going to do it 3 times. I did it only twice on the other side, but because this has that flat metal piece, I want to make sure. I'm going to go through everything and pull, then go back through demi-round, the pearl, the demi-round, like that. Now I'm going to go down through that bead, and I'm going to make my way over to add the second pearl. And this also, what I did on the other side was I went around this pattern a few times before I went over to add the next pearl. And that way it reinforces your work, your bead work on your Rivoli, so it's not being pulled on just 1 or 2 beads. Just make sure you don't hook things like that. There. So you can see that tightened it a bit. Okay, so let's go up through this side one. And over the top one. Back down the side one. down through the bottom one. Okay, we're going to go back up through the side one, and now we're going to determine which hole we want to be in. I think we want to be in this hole here. So we're currently coming out of this one. We're going to go through the top one here. Just make sure this is focused for you. There. And go down through the bottom. Like that. Yeah, that should do it. Okay, so pick up a demi-round pearl and a demi-round. Like that. Go up through the open hole on the clasp. And this is the point where you can take a look at it and say, oh, I don't know, they're too close, or that I want to put them further out. I think they're perfect that way. So now go through the demi-round, the pearl, the demi-round. And I'm going to go down through that bead. Pull it snug. Like that. Okay, so now we want to go through everything a few more times. So let's go through pearl, demi-round, and I even went through the clasp. Now go back through these, like that. And I'm going to go down. I'm going to go through it one more time, and then we're going to go through. Let me do it this way. It's easier. Then we'll go through the beadwork so we can kind of secure the thread a bit. Let's go down here. And take a look at what your thread is doing. I had some of this when I was putting the clasp on, was wrapped around the clasp, but you couldn't see it. It's so frustrating when you get done a bracelet and then you see this big line of thread going across. You're like, what the heck happened? And you can't get rid of it without taking it apart. So yeah, not friendship. So I'm going to go down this one. There, you can trying to even them out a bit there, just like that. Okay, so go through the side one, like that. Go up. Well, that was the bottom one, I guess. Go up through this one. Go around this top one through, like that, and then back down this one. That. Now, I think I'm going to get away from this area to put my knot, so let's go through this one. And go through this one, but we're going to turn the other way and put a knot. So go through this one, there, and grab your thread bridge, go once, twice around, and pull it down close to the thread. Put your thumb on it, pull it through, and then go down the next bead, like that. Now I'm going to go through these two here, and then I'll go through these two. And I like to put it through the 15s just because I know it'll stick in the 15s. But it's not entirely necessary. There we go. Let's cut this off. And there you have that side. And, oh my gosh, this turned out amazing. So the other thing too is you might want to consider using smaller beads here. I do find as I'm squeezing, you see how close it is to the pearl? Or you could use 11O seed beads, maybe a couple of them there just to get it. And you can also use wire guardians as well. But there you go. This is lovely. This turned out so pretty. Oh, let's test it on the mandrel. So I'll get my mandrel and let's just slide. So there's the 7.5, and it wants to go over to the 8. Yeah, I'm sure if I pulled it I could, but it's staying where it is. So that's good there. Yeah, you can see how it wants to go on the 8, but we made sure we added a bit of space so that it wouldn't be tight on her wrist. I think so. This is for Kath from England. I think she's gonna flip out when she sees this. What? Not exactly her colors. I totally know that, but this is my kind of like ode to Emma. You have to get a pink bracelet. So there you go. Thanks for joining me. If you have any questions, let me know, and stay tuned for the next video. Plenty of fun stuff coming along. I have some unboxings to do coming this week. Both my orders of Swarovski pearls should be coming. That's going to be so much fun. Take care, everybody. Bye.